once they approve your name, they will come back and they buy your debt. But you will find, of course, asset managers, private asset managers, bank treasuries, insurers, pension funds, and of course other type of investors.
And so ultimately, one of the reasons that this debt that you both are issuing is attractive to these investors is it's a little bit above the Canadian benchmark, so you get a little extra return. And while you're not truly government bonds, you're pretty safe. Is this true, Brandon? And what are some of the questions that these investors ask you on the road? Well, back in the day, and we'll be talking about this in a moment, but also over the Zoom screen, I'm imagining.
Sure. Yeah. Their motivation for investing in OMERS term notes is exactly as you described. Yes, we are AAA or one notch below, and we pay a little bit more spread than the true sovereigns like the government of Canada or I mean, for us, we're actually targeting US dollars as our core currency, and of course, paying a little bit more. Still a spread that we're comfortable with relative to the long-term investment returns that we're earning on our assets for sure. And so we're able to find a middle ground there, so to speak. Some of the questions that these investors do ask us when we used to go on the road, and as you say now on Zoom, one is about the relationship to the province of Ontario, and Ian talked about it for his institution, the Independents. We similarly are independent from the province of Ontario. We have the exclusive mandate to be the pension provider for the municipal employees in the province of Ontario, but we operate independently of them. They also ask about our asset base, our diversification, and our strategy, and they ask about really the funding program itself. How frequently do we anticipate coming to market? What currency, what tenor, et cetera?
Well, in our remaining 60 seconds or so, we are, of course, here in the U.S., we have been told by President Biden that the pandemic is over. However, many of the effects of the pandemic, not so much. So I understand that one of you prefers these new trends of working from home, and one of you is very, very excited to be back on the road. Can each of you tell me in about 20 seconds or so what your experience is? Ian?
Well, in terms of getting the message out and engaging with investors, I think it's of course pretty useful. Having access to virtual meetings, I think today it's more widely accepted by investors. In the beginning, it was not that obvious,
right.
But now mixing that with in-person meetings is also important. I need to to specify that. I think there is a value in in-person meetings as well. Yeah.
A balance, Brandon.
Yeah, in terms of our work here at OMERS, we're coming back to the office more often than not, and I think that really helps build and strengthen the culture that we're looking for in terms of investor relations. Happy to do either. I would say if there's a concentration of investors, we're more than happy to make a trip wherever they are across the world, as long as the cost and the time makes sense. Happy to be
Great stuff. Great conversation. Ian Charest, Senior Director, Treasury of CDPQ, and Brandon Wiening, Senior Vice President, Corporate Finance, OMERS. Thank you for sharing such helpful observations and insights on the use of leverage in the public sector for the Bloomberg Canadian Finance Conference. It was a terrific conversation and such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for the Bloomberg Canadian Finance Conference. We hope you enjoyed these conversations, and thanks again to all of our speakers for a wonderful program. And thank you to our sponsor, National Bank of Canada Financial Markets, for making this virtual conference possible. If you'd like more information from our sponsor, please visit the Sponsor tab on your screen. And most of all, thank you for being such an engaged audience. To watch any part of this event again, you can return to BloombergLive.com to view on demand. Thank you.